Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Today, we take a closer look at the stories shaping our communities and our future, going past the surface and into the context, the impact, and the conversations that matter.
In every episode, we move past what's trending and examine what the headlines truly mean for everyday Filipinos.
I'm Mildred Galarpe.
And I'm DJ Moises.
Today, we dive into the evolving landscape of sports and exercise science, Baguni, in the Philippines, and why our guest expertise is especially what vital right now. Joining us is Mr. Pio Sulon, a distinguished member of the University of the Philippines and the technical panel for sports and exercise science of the Commission on Higher Education.
Mr. Solon brings crucial insights into sports science, physical education, and higher education policies, helping students, educators, and policymakers better understand the direction of sports and exercise science in the country. We will explore the challenges, opportunities, and the future of the field right here on Beyond the Headlines.
Okay, good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon.
Pio.
Good afternoon, DJ and Mildred.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Yeah,
si
so-
Pio is no stranger to Sunstar because he used to write a column for Lifestyle. So,
Pero there's something that's stranger, no?
Okay.
About him. And that is his course, no?
unsa di ang course Dij?
So he studied sports science in UP. So
Ano di sports science Dij?
kana. So I think we will have to ask him.
Murag tiguang mo kay ko kay akong feeling magyud sa inani is physical education, PE ra gyud ko taman pero there's
Sports
a
science.
Okay.
Sige. So what exactly is the course about?
Right, so I took up sports science at the University of the Philippines. Back then, I was a handful of a few Bisayas in UP, so nobody knew about the course. But it was really the application of science into sports. No? So if you can imagine, let's say physics, how let's say leverage plays an advantage in different techniques, or material science where this type of rubber interacts better with this surface of rubber better, so there's more friction, and so you can have more traction when you sprint. Sports nutrition, looking at how nutrition impacts sports performance and fitness, and all these things. How do we properly craft exercise programs to improve different, let's say, parameters, let's say endurance or body composition or strength or speed or power. So this is what we took.
So more siya the entire
Yes,
thing,
yes.
not just nutrition, not just on physical activities,
Yeah.
but really the science and things. Like if you're a basketball player,
Yes.
so
Yes.
everything, unsa nga rubber shoes imong gamiton,
To an extent, the design of, the rubber shoe,
shoes.
we can look at it and then say that this might be beneficial for this type of athlete who moves a certain way.
And
Yes.
then the
The sole.
The foot, that is more into orthotics. But we have an understanding of it. I think sports science as a field is more of we are generalists rather
General of everything.
general of everything.
and how they relate.
And how they relate, and eventually you choose a specialization, which in my case was strength and conditioning, and then eventually I'm doing postgraduate degree in public health. So I'm looking at how this exercise and sports impacts the public health also. So these are my interests, and
Yes.
to an extent specialization.
Nindot siya no kay from nag-micro ka, then
Yep.
you go to public health, so more
Yes.
people imong ma-serve.
Yep. Yep.
It's good.
Yep.
So
Okay.
speaking of more people,
Okay.
Kemarag, fitness is a simple at the same time a complex word,
Yeah.
no? So in
Yeah.
simplest terms, what does fitness mean, no? And why does it matter on a day-to-day life?
Yeah, so fitness is just the physical capability to accomplish certain tasks. This can be going up the stairs, which I think for us is for sayun ra. But if you ask, let's say, an 80-year-old, going up the stairs can be physically demanding task for him or her, no? And so it encompasses so many things, but general is the ability to do physical tasks well with less physical effort. Yeah.
So how much, Kanike, this is also potentially a myth
Yeah.
buster, no?
Yeah.
How much of it is diet and how much of it is exercise? And I'll complicate it later.
Okay. So, yeah. Well, it's hard to put a percentage on how much of it is nutrition and how
Yes.
much of it is exercise. People respond different ways to both. No, there are some people who are able to, and I know people who are able to out-train a bad diet. No, and I know people who, despite exercising so much and eating so much because of their personal genetics or how they're constituted, they're not responders. But evidently, I think the broad answer I can give to that is that everyone should try to be as fit as possible and to eat as nutritionally sound as they possibly can. Right.
So dili siya one solution fit all, right?
No,
So, the science will really have to evaluate unsa
Yes.
imong metabolism
Yes.
and everything. So
Yeah.
ayun gyud ta mutuan ang naa sa Facebook nga
Correct.
kanang
Yeah.
mga
Yeah.
pabayron din kag subscription nya kay inana. So no, dili ang best way to approach it is really to consult an expert and have yourself check.
Yeah.
Musta man imo unsa yung physical activity, unsa mi kaon puro junk food.
No, because
Guilty.
Yeah.
so this one is myth kanang buster.
Yes.
Because I've read somewhere na it's 60% diet and then the rest will just follow, no?
Yeah.
But I like the idea nga it depends on how the body actually
Yeah.
responds.
Yeah.
So speaking of the body, how much also of it is genetics, no?
Well, the safe answer to that would be we think of genetics or genes as like keys in a keyboard. And then depending on how you live your life, certain keys in that keyboard gets played. Like for example, let's say you have two people, perhaps family members, identical set of genes. One person does life a certain way, sleeps 8 hours, exercises 1 hour a day, eats food high in fiber. So certain genes get activated, and then that's the one that becomes actualized. No, so it's hard to answer the gene question for now. But one thing's for sure. If we look at the World Health Guidelines on physical activity, before the pandemic, I think they changed it, if I'm not mistaken. Right now, they're saying 300 minutes of physical activity per week.
300 minutes
Of
is
physical activity per week. And then 2 of that strength training.
5 days.
5 days, 60 minutes.
Actually, this I like the analogy using a keyboard, no? Okay,
Yeah.
for me, man, good genes, bad genes, Levi's, Guess. But this one is
Yeah, but yun ang-
genetics.
yun ang-
Alam ko, di-fail ako joke.
But like-
Okay, sige. Okay.
Sino kung may buong anang mong feeling mong joke din.
Okay, sige.
Brunei, tsaka imong joke din. Di masabtan sa tuod. Yes.
Anyway, sige.
Sa ka. Kanang, bisan pag igsuon mo, genetic, ano man gid mo.
Yeah.
Kay makita man sad nato, no? There are
Yeah.
families nga na igsuon na bisag kung saan niya kaon.
Agree. I've seen
Kamay
that.
gid siya, but there's another one nga bisag unsaon na lang diet, you
Yeah.
deprive na kas imong self
Yeah.
of food, but still
The progress is
gihapon kayo.
Yeah.
So it's di na siya mo di ko mo tulag yan ang kaliwat manggod na ninyo, no.
Yeah.
I think it's muna you really need to have a science evaluation
Yeah.
before even thinking mag-keto diet ko,
Yeah.
mag kanang intermittent fasting ko, kanang these are all kanang crash
Yeah.
crash courses over things. It's no solution.
Speaking of kaliwat, habits are also kaliwat.
Yes.
For example, if let's say a family naanad na every time magmisa on a Sunday, inikho magmisa,
It
muhapit
all you
yun o ginasal. So inikaminyo naanad
Carry.
na
Yes.
inikho magmisa, kinahanglan
Kinahanglan
ginasal.
inasal.
So this becomes the habit, and then
Yes.
we say that, okay, hypertension is hereditary, wherein it is the lechon that's
But it's
hereditary.
actually the eating, the habit, the tradition of eating
Yeah.
lechon every Sunday.
Yeah. Our birthday, funeral,
Everything.
every day,
Every occasion.
Every occasion. If there's something to celebrate, or if I'm sad, I look for lechon. So this becomes the habit, and then this is the one that's hereditary.
Or even finding an occasion.
Yes.
Maghimo og occasion para kakaog lechon.
To justify.
Nanong naglechon taron? Birthday sa Iro. Okay. Birthday sa Iring. Okay. Diba? So, mo na, it's true nga, nganong hereditary man. So, kay unique man good ang individual na composition sa tao. So, it's actually the habit,
Yeah.
the tradition of eating.
Yes.
Okay, kauntang itlog every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think katang that's what the doctors usually say nga, eat pareha sa drink, eat in moderation. Kung excessive na mag-deposit sige na sa atong lawas,
Yeah.
di ba? So,
Sige. So when it comes, because some people they associate fitness with losing weight, no? What's the biggest misconception about that idea?
That exercise can do it alone. So, and that I think nutrition and exercise, we're finding out now. I'm not an expert on this yet. I think an endocrinologist is a better expert, but there's also an interplay of hormones, especially for females, the balance of estrogen, progesterone, and all of that.
on the seasons of the month.
The seasons of the month, and so a lot of, I think, women become frustrated when they diet so hard and then they don't see results. No? So there's that. But I think the misconception, certain foods also can make you slim. Like example, let's say crackers. 3 pieces of crackers. Ko mag-diet lang ko, mag-crackers. Actually, di lang ko mag-rice. The crackers might have processed fat, which we call trans fat. And then trans fat, what it does to the body is it brings down your HDL, good cholesterol, and it brings up your LDL, bad cholesterol. And then ang fat is 9 calories per gram. So kanang tulo ka crackers na di kayo makabusog, it's equivalent to 3/4 cup of a rice. So 150 calories. So mora gihapon, no. So
But
mora
yet you
gihapon.
deprive yourself already.
Yes, and
diba?
you're exchanging that rice, which you think is not a diet food, with the crackers, which you think is a
Diet.
quote unquote diet food. It's not making you full.
Yeah, I think there's triggered po na siya with a lot of things you see online, di ba? Kanang yun, kanang murag evaluate kuno ka, kanang just recently I'm interested of Tai Chi, no? So
Yeah.
okay, Tai Chi na din mo gawa sa akong feed,
Yeah.
no? Kay algorithmic man na
Yeah.
siya. Then so ganahan ka pa-download doon kay download mo i-assess lugar ka pila imong edad, unsa imong physical activity, unsa everything ana. Then later on okay in kuan mo ang imong gipangita is strengthening raman ta sa imong lawas. In about a month mo daot na din ka. Wa ko nagpadaot kanang nya bayad na din ka. So there's no moment, there's no such thing as free lunch. But kanang I think if ang imong intention gunahan gyud ka mo be physically fit, better sa ato na lang gyud ta sa expert. Diretso na lang ka kaysa mag trial and error ka on a lot of things. Like remember katong diet pills niya na day bad effects on the kidney and everything. So if you can experiment on a lot of things but not on your own body.
Sige, speaking of experimentation on a lot of
Yes.
things but not on your body, can you just briefly comment about certain popular diets such as keto and then intermittent fasting? No?
Well, so if we go to the scientific literature, all diets work. Diets work predominantly in 2 ways. One is you take out something that can be carbohydrate, protein, or fat. Because you take out something, you already take out calories. Number 2 is by restricting time. So because you restrict time, the end result is you end up eating far fewer calories. And so most people, assuming physiology is normal, or assuming most people, if you cut calories for, let's say, an extended period of time, let's say 4 weeks to 12 weeks, you will see a reduction in weight.
So and you've mentioned this in passing already, no? But
Yeah.
just to confirm, for somebody, average person,
Yeah.
who wants results, immediate
Yeah.
results, kay bagong sana kasal, atinan,
Uh-huh.
or whatever.
Or right after pregnancy.
Right.
Oh yes,
Kanang
okay
yun
na.
kay,
Oh,
kanang, you know, dagan kay mga babae nga pag before they get married, before they get pregnant, kanang, you know, kuan kaayo, then later on, pregnancy mo, dako mo gid ka. Kay you're feeding, duhagod mo kabuok. So, kanang mo gini frustration nga. So, umro ko pag...
kana.
Yeah.
What should they focus on for immediate results lang sa short term?
For short term, let's say 3 months, the right habits. The right habits, regardless of, I'm process oriented. So I will always say, like, fix the process first, and then the
Yes.
outcome follows. So so what are the right habits? Showing up for yourself, whether it's the gym or exercise time. Let's say a lot of people don't have an exercise habit, so maybe for these people, like, just wearing fitness attire and
Start.
then doing something for 5 minutes, kanang naadyo'y mabuhat, just to start, no? The lowest lying hanging fruit. So that can be one habit. So that's the exercise habit. The second habit is eating healthier from where you're starting from. Let's say you're starting as somebody who drinks 2 bottles of Coke per day, 1 at lunch and 1 at dinner. Normal.
Not guilty. Not guilty.
Guilty. So we see this often now. Just taking that soft drink out can be a step in the right direction. Switching from, let's say, high fat food to high protein and high fiber, nutritionally more dense food, rich in fruits and vegetables. So that would be nutrition. And then the third thing that's not really mentioned, which I think is very understated, is getting good sleep in terms of quantity and quality. So these would be the 3 things to focus on. Depending on the person, some people will say nutrition's easy for me, then maybe focus more on exercise. Some people will have that, then focus on sleep.
So, like, to start, like ako, sedentary. I have a very sedentary life.
Yeah.
Just tied to my chair. Ang akong activity is, ang kanarag yung paglakaw from one office to another.
Right.
Lakaw-lakaw lagi din sa office. So,
Yeah.
ang first gini mo nga challenge is, you know, just wear that rubber shoes. Try it just even
Yes.
for 5 minutes.
Yes.
And then second, kanang from your usual 3 chips a day,
Yeah.
cut it down.
Yeah.
Maybe transfer ka to 1 apple a day, keeps
Yeah.
the doctor away.
Yeah.
And the phone call away.
And the phone call away. and then pag after nimo sa chips, ang sleep.
Yeah.
Na-surprise kay ko, UC recently launched the Sleep Lab.
Yeah.
So inana ka deprive ang mga tao og sleep. Does this ano ba ni?
Yeah, so we know that blue light affects the quality and quantity of our sleep. I think it's the light and also the content that we see on our phones, the brain activity that, and then for
That they
people
trigger, no?
the trigger. So for people to wind down, they use their phones, but they can't really wind down because their brains are still working. Yeah.
There are dam sa mga reason nga. Why are you still naka sa phone para makapoy ako mata makatugod? That is actually not the reason. Okay, continue man imong
Yeah.
mental activity.
Especially kung triggers ang imong gibasa.
Unsa imong akong
Kung triggers ba?
Like unsa nga trigger?
Emails na.
Emails, later maning ka mo. Wala di nakakatog.
Correct.
Keyboard warrior na din ka, di ba? Nga, it's true. So, kana lang siguro, sugod lang siguro tana that ditch, no? Ay, angin pagita ka, no?
Sige.
Pag-wear og pag-rubber shoes, niya, kanang,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's a lot of especially kanig yun, mga working moms. Kanang ang juggling nimo sa time na okay, you're done with after nimo you thought na iguman sa imong 5 o'clock work, you're done. Igulin mo sa imong bay, oh my god, there's another gigantuan work you have to do. So kanang kana siguro niya later on it takes toll on your body. It takes toll on your body again. So
Kanang sa sleep ba? And will it matter if they sleep during the evening or they sleep during the day?
I'm not into the data, but from what I recall, there is an impact of nighttime versus daytime sleep. There is.
Sige, and then the other one also is quite related to what Mildred actually just said. How about for those who have consistently lived kanang unfit routine,
Right.
and then they are already in their 40s, their
Right.
50s, and then they already think that it's too late. No?
Yeah.
So how do you motivate them?
Yeah. So this has been our experience the past few years actually. Working with athletes and then working with people who are midlife, and then they start to realize that okay, maybe this is a part of my life that I'm neglecting. So the key there is to start from where you are. A lot of people in midlife, I think, including myself now, will always recall to the last physically fit part of your life, and then you tend to I'll start from there. It doesn't happen that way. Your body has aged.
Yes.
Your body has aged. There have been some changes. You've put in a few more pounds. Your muscles are not what they used to be, and so you really have to start from where you are. And working with an expert, getting accountability. Actually, it's for me the exercise program is secondary, but the primary way really to get people into this habit is to have some sort of accountability, whether it's with a coach, whether it's with a friend or family. So we've seen some success when middle-aged people, corporate types, corporate executives, every 2 weeks there's a prompt. Hey, how are you doing? Are you still on the plan that you signed up on? And then if yes, good, continue. If not, why? And how can you get back on it? So this would be something. But I think the feeling also of not being too frustrated when you can't do the things that you used to be able to do. Yeah, you have to get rid of that and just okay, this is where I am. How do I move forward? How do I stay consistent? So,
especially no for those people nga mo undergo og rehab.
yeah.
Kay mo gina kanang di ba kanang ma-frustrate ka like just simple nakay puniton nga butang nga it was so easy before, how come it's a very struggle now.
Yeah.
So pero yan sabi na balik kita sa mga mama no, same as women who went through pregnancy. Kanang sometimes it's when before ka na pregnant, easy to move around, but when those fats and everything build up after pregnancy, frustrating kaayo ba then kanang manifest magud how you look.
Yeah.
Some mag-postpartum, di ba? So, so kana siya. So, I think kanang to a lot of mom, mas if you're going through that, it's best na mo consult kita og kanang mga experts so that mas kumugasto na malang gani ka, diretso na rather than magsalita ni ChatGPT for how to do it or ni Dr. Google or even kanang mga lagi misleading gyud kanang kinahanglan gyud ads on Facebook on kanang easy way out on ano because there is no such thing as
an
easy way.
Yeah.
You have to earn it. So ako na ko'y question Dij. Kanang gikan man gyud ta og disaster.
Right.
So I mean a lot of people until today are ang mga Pinoy kanang resilient man kita even if we're going even if atong bahay naguba na we still manage to smile, to laugh and all these things, but sometimes kanang at the moment but ang ako is, from your perspective, why is physical wellness crucial for communities or to people recovering from the disaster or recovering from a trauma brought by the disaster?
Right. So, first of all, I think if you're coming from a disaster, you first focus on your basic needs, no? Shelter,
yes, the
food,
food,
water,
water, yes.
clothing.
Yeah.
After that, I think some people, especially those who might be struggling mentally, in their mental health, maybe exercise is a viable therapeutic tool. Especially, we Filipinos are so communal. We
Yes.
love being in community, so doing things like Zumba in a community might be therapeutic for some. I can also see the logic na sa kadakag problema nganong kana ang yuna, no, but it can be therapeutic for some. But in terms of disasters, physical wellness and fitness is actually one of the components for disaster preparedness. Now, in order to prepare for it, can you imagine, let's say, a significant disaster, but you're frail? How do you do it? Or let's say
Yeah.
I'm a father of, let's say, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Oh my God.
I'm in my 40s, but I have low back pain, and then I can't carry these two kids 3 flights of stairs, and because I'm not physically capable. So there is an element where your physical fitness will be very useful in times of disaster or calamity. I was talking to my staff like the day after Tino happened. We met each other on a Wednesday. Tino happened on a Tuesday morning. The first floor of their house was flooded. And she said something like, if not for my strength, I would have been driven by the current.
Yeah.
Right. So she was able to pull herself to the second floor. She was relatively young. She did track and field. But because of that
Strength.
physical capability, she was able to get a good outcome for herself. Right.
I think a lot of people who saved
Yeah.
their neighbors during the one were also kanang
Yeah,
physically fit.
Yeah.
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 Not really your tone muscles, but you have the strength.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have the strength.
I think the basketball player comes to mind.
Yes.
Si JR
Yes.
Kinyahan.
Although
So,
daghan sa tayo nawa niya, no?
Yeah.
Pero he was able to save a lot of
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
So, how about those people also who are intimidated by going to the gym? No?
Yeah.
Because it might be a confidence issue, or because they've been overweight for so long, they're not
Yeah.
confident about their body. So what,
Confidence ra ba gid na siya, no? So
so what do you tell them?
Well, fortunately, we have a gym that's very inclusive towards people of different shapes and sizes. But yeah, if you don't have the confidence yet to go into a gym, then start working out at home. I mean, people vilify YouTube. A lot of people in my profession vilify YouTube, but I know that there are a lot of really good content also on YouTube that is going to be helpful for people's fitness. No, so yeah, and it starts really by the first thing I would probably say is do something that you enjoy, regardless if you're confident to do it or not. So that can be dancing, boxing, martial arts, running, walking, swimming, cycling, etc. Within your means, of course. So yeah, just find something you enjoy and then try to stick with it, and then see what happens if you do it continuously for a significant period of time.
nindot nang try to stick with it. Kaya a lot of people
Consistency, no?
ang kana yung consistent ka, kana lang yung every okay, nag-schedule ka every MWF.
Yeah.
Nya, shucks, nailaag. Ini
Yeah.
ka Tuesday. The more ka magsigig postpone or magsigig erratic sa imong schedule, I
Yeah.
think ang more less likely you imong success to your goal of whatever.
And you mentioned about something that they enjoy, no? So, what are the few
Yeah.
top exercises that they can do even while at home? That
Right.
they can do consistently.
Right. a lot of for the men, a lot of men enjoy boxing. So there's plenty of boxing resources now available, free of charge. A lot of women enjoy yoga, Pilates,
Zumba.
dance, Zumba is always good. Jazz dance is always good, and that's also something that you can do at home. Walking in a mall is very underrated. Tuyok-tuyok lang ba na way kumpra?
Without you knowing
Yeah,
bang, hala,
yeah.
inani dede ay ka
Yeah, yeah.
ang walk ni mo.
Yes,
Kaya wa man,
yes.
na lingaw man ka.
Provided na di sa kamo snack o something high in calories, but
In the process,
in the
yeah.
process, but it's very underrated. Like the number of steps that people.
Nag-walk ka from ground floor to pero nagbit-bit mo sa kag french fries.
Correct.
Patay.
Ay, kwenta.
Yeah.
It's true.
Provided you're intentional.
Okay.
Is it true that people start losing muscle when the moment they reach 30s?
The age, I'm not so sure, but it normally coincides with a decline in our sex hormones. For men, when testosterone comes down, and then for women, when estrogen also comes down. And this is also when women start to lose their bone mass, start losing some bone mass, because estrogen is a hormone that also has bone maintaining properties. No?
So that is the reason why as women age kanang mo bako or mo weaken ang ilahang
The slouching is not so much the bones, but the muscle
So
that's
it's
holding the
holding the
bones.
bones.
So if you don't stimulate that muscle that's holding your posture, you start to, if you don't use it, you lose it.
yes.
Right. So that's one thing. The bone can be influenced by exercise. We know that from the literature again, that when bone is loaded in an axial manner, meaning from the y-axis, from the top, from the top, if it's loaded from the top and it's compressed, there is an adaptation to deposit new bone, and so that has the ability to maintain or decrease the degeneration of bone that ultimately might lead to osteoporosis.
Okay, that explains that 80-year-old runner nga babae. So tungod gid siguro to sa sige niya og exercise. So may exercise na ta og manet ha, andama ang ang dihas gawas ka mag-exercise na tanet.
So just like in all things or a lot of things, motivation, they're erratic, no? They also fade.
Yeah.
So as a coach, how do you normally sige, inspire
Inspire lang good.
instead
Yeah.
of force, no?
Yeah.
To be consistent.
Right. So different strokes for different folks. You have, let's say, a young athlete might be more driven towards being an authoritarian figure. Like a younger athlete listens to authority, and so that allows them to be consistent. A professional athlete is driven by the professional demands of their profession, so they become more consistent. Understandably, like people like us who have jobs, our motivations wanes, and there are seasons in the year where we might be more consistent. There are seasons in the year where we're not very good.
Which is I think the last quarter.
Last quarter, we're not very good. And then we eat more.
Yes.
Something that I always try to coach our individuals. Like, for sure, you're going to get off the bike. For sure. There's no doubt in my mind that you're going to fall off. The most important thing is how quickly can we
Can
get
go
back
back,
on.
yeah.
And when we fall, we just get back
Back
on.
on.
It's just a series of that. The motivation really wanes. So to an extent, you want that individual to have their own personal systems that allow for them to be able to do this as automatically as possible in as quick a time as possible. So for somebody, let's say a female, 40-year-old, might be more. It might be more of a system to her if the night before she already prepares what she's going to wear for her exercise and make sure
OOTD.
na it's displayed prominently
Or it's
in
already
her
in the
room.
van.
Na di gyud ba sayo maagianin ako, I have to do this, right? So it can be that. Eventually, what normally happens with people is that once they start feeling the benefits of being healthier, being fitter, you don't want to go back to how you were, especially if you come from a state of not being healthy. Once you come from a state of not being healthy, then you get to a healthy state. Now you have a barometer. This is how I'm supposed to be feeling every day. This is how after work, I'm healthy, I'm fit. If my wife has something, I'm not irritable. How can I help? If my son has something, I'm not irritable. If there's if let's say, even in the home, I came off from work, there's a work concern that needs my attention. I'm not irritable. I still have the capacity and the energy to be able to sort things out. Whereas if I'm at my physical limit all the time, I get home, my wife has something. Yeah, tempers. And then it's not just the energy, it's the relationship at home that's also affected if I'm not in a good state physically, which affects my mentality, etc., etc. It becomes just a cascade of events, right? So, yeah.
So what happens, because I've also seen people who were fit
Yeah.
and then they lost something along the way and then
Yeah.
they became overweight
Yeah.
and then fit again
Yeah.
and then overweight
It's
again.
like roller coaster, no?
Correct.
Na
Oh.
episodes.
What's causing that and how can that be corrected?
Different things for different people. One thing would be we don't know what's going on also with their other life.
When they're not fit.
Yes, or
What triggers when...
yeah, what's going on
that's-
with family, what's going on work, with what's going on with children or finances, or etc. New projects. So there might be times where fitness takes a backseat towards other
Other
priorities.
Priorities.
Right, and so once things get sorted, they start to go back again. Yeah, for me, I can speak for myself. It's really down to personal systems, like making it as accessible as possible, which is it's more accessible. I guess it's really more accessible for me than it is for most people. I visit a gym, in some way or another. But yeah, personal systems really help, and accountability would be my two answers to that.
Kanisha, Pio, this is my last question.
Sure.
Promise, last question.
Sure.
What advice would you give to families, especially those with children and elderly members? For children, kay namugoy tendency ang parents nga, especially na grandparents nga, okay, pakanalan mo na yung mga obese ni mga anak.
Yeah.
At the same time, for the elderly nga, dili maminaw, di ba? Kay,
Yeah.
dili pasulti. So,
Yeah.
kanang, di na lang ta kay magsapot on
Yeah.
everything. So, unsa sad imong advice to this kind of family members?
Well, I'll divide it into two.
Yes.
So I'll start with the children first.
Yes.
So public health, now we're seeing the highest incidence of obesity and overweight in children. There's so many reasons, but I think one is we've lost the ability of children to play physically, and now they play digitally, and so I think it's causing disruptive behaviors. Children don't know how to run, they don't know how to skip,
Oh my God.
they don't know how to jump. They get to high school without knowing these physical skills, right? So sometimes I get into a meeting about physical education or sports, and then why are these important? It's also a matter of national defense. If we're training citizenry below the age of 18 who don't know how to run, who don't know how to jump, who don't know how to carry, and at some point there's a disaster, or God forbid,
So,
a significant effort that we need to do as a country to defend our territory, Um, how do we,
How do
do
we
that?
manage that?
How do we
so
manage?
everybody will be a victim then.
Yes. And so, children need to play as much as possible, get into sports, do something fun, do sports for the sake of doing it, not for the prestige of the parents. Kasi a lot of parents, put their kids into sports so that,
So it's more sometimes parents put their children to sports because they want it as a personal trophy.
Yes,
But
yeah,
not really
yeah.
looking into if that's good ba na siya sa imo.
Yeah, and so, but we really need to get children to be playing as much as possible, outdoors or physically. Playgrounds, fields, doing martial arts, gymnastics, swimming, making sure that children are drown-proof. No, and then let them be children, let them play. Sa elderly, it becomes a little bit more different. There is a difficulty that we're finding with the elderly population when we talk to them about exercise. There is always a notion that if you're elderly, you're not physically capable. I'll go back to the WHO physical activity guidelines. Even above the age of 60, they should still be doing 300 minutes or more. This is not actually, if you look at that recommendation, the physical activity minutes and requirements for the elderly are more for the elderly. And there's I heard this a few years back, but there's what we call proximity bias. That when we talk to a family member about something, they won't listen to us, regardless of how much of an authority we are in the subject matter. So it always helps, I think, for family members to hear it from somebody else. Could be a medical practitioner that they respect also. Right. So I think, for the elderly, so that relationships are also not strained.
Tinuod na.
So, yeah.
Kaya wa man gamiton man din ang authority as
Yeah.
the mom or the
Yeah.
no, kinsa man ka mas may pa kanako.
Yeah.
So it's best gyud nga mo ang kanang there's another expert. nga.
This is something I've become very, I think, interested about, kadi exercise and the aging. Because there's not a lot of data on it, so there's
Yes.
anecdotal lang. So we're now seeing anecdotal evidence of somebody who's been sedentary for 60 years. Sedentary for 60 years. Male, Italian. At the age of 65, he retires and then he thinks of picking up cycling as a hobby.
Wow, at 65.
At 65, I
Yes.
mean, starts cycling. Gets to the age of 90. Consistent with cycling. Right? Consistent with cycling. At 90 years old, his aerobic fitness becomes that of a 45-year-old. Starts at 65, consistently cycles, goes up the Alps, maybe, serious cycling. At the age of 90, has the aerobic fitness of that of a 45-year-old. So it's never too late to start. You can reverse a lot of the aging that happens. It can be strength or cardiovascular fitness.
And then my last question,
Okay.
sige, is it's oh no, not yet. It's going to be December.
Right.
And this is time for eating, no?
Yeah.
And a lot of the food that's usually served during Christmas holidays are not necessarily healthy.
What make you happy?
Yes. And then after that there's New Year and everybody goes back to
Yeah.
the gym, no?
Okay. New Year's resolution.
Correct.
Right.
So for 2026, no, what can you tell our viewers that once they go back to fitness routine,
Yeah.
how can they carry forward so that it will not just be a January, February
Yeah.
2026 kind of resolution?
Right. Right. So how do you sustain that? Right. Well, the January 2026 is it's good for momentum. It's good for people to get started. One thing I would focus on is don't do everything at once. Just small wins, small wins, small wins. Make it consistent. Most people's mistake is that I get to January, I do a really big workout, I'm in pain for 3 days, can't do anything, I stop working out. It's not going to work. 20 minutes, 30 minutes within your capability. Do it again tomorrow. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. not too tiring yet. Hinahinay lang, hinahinay. Hantod maporma na. Just start slowly. Just make sure you focus on consistency. Being consistent means doing something you enjoy and try to be accountable to somebody.
Kay nganong inanan ang abebe because you feel guilty, you need to punish yourself. So, exercise 3 hours instead of an hour. Alaga, 3 hours ka, then later on.
Nasa me technique sa December. So if you have a party in the evening, fast or like make sure you're
morning.
clean for breakfast and lunch. Then after dinner again, make sure you're clean. Breakfast, clean meaning maybe fruits, hard-boiled egg.
Yes.
Lunch, maybe something healthy. Inununan, tinoa, mais. Then banat na sad inig dinner. Next day, clean na po breakfast and then lunch,
Yes.
banat na po dinner. So that's how we do it in December.
Yes. I think, so magpuasa sa ka imong man breakfast ug lunch Holy Week. Christmas na
Or
imong
dinner.
Kana di kay ta guilty, di ba? Nya kanang gyud bahalag daghan imong tilawan pero ayaw hutda. Kay narabagitan din si kanang gluto ni ba nga murag lumi
Yeah.
nanadiri
Lechon.
kanang di na siya maayo, no. So very nanakay plano sa mo imong December.
Small steps, consistency.
Net. Ay, kay buong ugma na siya bit rubber shoes on the side. By Valentine's Day,
Fitness na nga tayo.
Valentine's Day, wa na, magsando na lang. Anyway, it's a very insightful. Thank you, Pio.
Thank you.
Very insightful discussion nga kanang dili mo matter ang edad, you can actually start pero mas may nang mangonsulta gyud ta og expert before even starting anything. Kay katong gi-share ni Pio nga 65 ni start siya cycling, basin okay pa iyang back, okay pa iyang everything, pero kung nanatay gipamati niya mag-cycling ta dito basin niya more injuries. So always consult an expert before we do anything. Kay bahalag mag-experiment ka sa imong pets, not just your body. So that wraps up this edition of Beyond the Headlines. We hope today's conversation helped shed light to the bigger picture behind the story.
And we'd like to thank our guest, Mr. Pio Solon, for helping us connect the dots in ways that matter.
I'm Mildred Galarpe.
And I'm DJ Moises.
Thank
you
you
and
and
good
good
afternoon.